Elon Musk is clearly having fun on Twitter. And it's nice. I mean, if you're going to spend $44 billion to buy the platform, you may as well have a little fun. And I think what we're seeing from Musk is a little bit more self-expression than we're used to, because I've followed Musk for a while, and typically he would post things that were going on with SpaceX and things going on with Tesla. Once in a while, he'd offer a comment. But it looks like he's, well, I can't say letting his hair down. He's got a little bit of the Kim Jong-un hairstyle, so he can't really let his hair down. But he's having fun. And he's really showing by example what it means to have free speech, by which I mean that you've got all these people bashing Elon Musk. In fact, here's a comment by someone on Twitter. They say that Elon Musk has invited the world to abuse him verbally on his own property. That's my definition of a gracious and generous host. And Elon Musk has a wry but very telling response. He goes, freedom of speech means freedom of speech. So it's not that Elon is being a gracious host. It's that Elon believes that the constitutional standard of free speech, which, by the way, strictly speaking, applies only to Congress. It doesn't really apply to Elon Musk. Elon Musk could play the game of the left and go, well, listen, private companies can do whatever they want. It's my platform. I'm going to cancel all the people I don't like. But he's not doing that. He's essentially voluntarily imposing the constitutional standard that is restricted in its application to the state, and he's imposing it on himself. And I think that this goes to the heart of who this guy is. People will sometimes talk about, well, do we really want billionaires controlling? Well, perhaps not. But the truth of it is you've got billionaires controlling Google. You've got billionaires that control YouTube. You've got a billionaire, Mark Zuckerberg, controlling Facebook. So this is actually a playground of billionaires. I think what makes Elon Musk different is that he's a billionaire who doesn't want to run your life. He's a billionaire that doesn't want to control what you see and what you hear. He's a billionaire, in other words, who wants to leave you alone. He wants to live his life and let you live yours. So he doesn't have to be a conservative. He just has to believe in this basic bedrock American principle that we each have a right to our own lives. You know, here's an interesting line from Elizabeth Spears. This is one of the kind of nannies on the New York Times, someone who would love to supervise what everybody says. Mr. Musk seems to seek a kind of infinite license to say almost anything, anywhere. Bingo! That is what we should have. That's the standard. We should be allowed to say almost anything, anywhere, which is to say a near absolutist standard of free speech. Now, of course, there are some people who go, wait a minute, Elon Musk runs a company, Tesla, and he doesn't allow employees to publicly criticize the company. Well, this is a whole different matter because, quite frankly, if you're on the Tesla payroll, you really shouldn't be criticizing Tesla in public. I apply this rule, by the way, in D'Souza Media. If you work for D'Souza Media, you shouldn't be criticizing Dinesh in public. If you have grievances, bring them to me. But it's not unreasonable. It's not inconsistent with free speech for Elon Musk to do that at Tesla and at the same time say, listen, I'm going to create a free speech environment at Twitter. Today, I guess, so was it yesterday that he tweets, well, last night, let's make Twitter maximum fun. I mean, this is the spirit. This is what actually these platforms used to be. This was the original promise of the internet, to be liberating and a place where you could share ideas. And even if you're an ordinary guy, hey, you've got a platform like everybody else. And if your content is, as they say, viral, contagious, interesting, people are going to share it, and you become a kind of mini publisher. And that, I think Musk wants to restore some of that. And that I think is very exhilarating. Musk also made an interesting comment about the left. He goes, the far left hates everyone, themselves included. This is from this morning. And I thought to myself, well, what is it? I think my experience with particularly some of these campus leftists is that these are people who have made really bad choices, and they have miserable lives. So there's a kind of inward anger that characterizes them. And I'm not saying that they, to some degree, haven't had bad experiences, but because they seem to hate their parents. They hate the small towns they grew up in. They hate their pastor. They are in a kind of rebellion against society, against normalcy, against standards that have been codes of conduct, the 10 Commandments. And so these are people who take this inner rage and displace it politically. In fact, they look for redemption, or they look for sanctification through political anger and agitation. In a sense, I think they feel that if they can control other people, maybe make them as miserable as they are, then they've achieved a measure of, maybe this is what they mean by equity. They want to level everybody else down to their own kind of basement level of misery. So I think Musk is really psychologically onto something here, although I think he's going to get a good deal of pushback, as you always do when you speak the truth.